The echo of boots on polished marble still haunts my dreams, a rhythmic march that once symbolized order in my chaotic world. It was a sunlit morning at the military academy, where flags snap in the breeze like sharp reminders of duty and honor. I stood tall in my dress uniform, heart pounding with a mix of pride and nerves, awaiting the promotion ceremony that would crown years of sacrifice. I'm Captain Leela now, but back then, I was just a determined officer climbing ranks in a man's world, fueled by the fire of my late mother's encouragement and the stern guidance of my stepfather, the general. He wasn't my blood, but after Mom's passing, he married into our family, bringing his son, my stepbrother, Derek, into the fold. Derek and I grew up under the same roof, sharing awkward family dinners and forced sibling bonds. But beneath it all simmered a tension I could never quite name. The general was a towering figure, his voice like thunder, commanding respect from everyone around him. He'd pushed me hard, molding me into the soldier I became, always saying, strength isn't given, Leela, it's forged. Derek, on the other hand, was the golden boy, effortlessly charming, with a smile that hid sharp edges. We'd clashed growing up. He resented my drive, calling it trying too hard to be Dad's favorite. But as adults, we'd settled into a fragile truce. Or so I thought. That day, the auditorium buzzed with anticipation, officers, families, the weight of tradition hanging in the air like incense. I glanced at Derek in the front row, his uniform crisp, his expression unreadable. The general stood podium side, preparing to pin my new insignia, his eyes gleaming with what I mistook for pride. As the ceremony began, speeches flowed like a river, praising valor and commitment. My mind wandered to the secret I'd carried for months, a tiny life growing inside me. A surprise from a brief romance with a fellow officer who'd been deployed overseas. I kept it hidden, fearing judgment in our rigid world, planning to reveal it after the promotion. But as I stepped forward, a wave of nausea hit, subtle but insistent, a reminder of the fragility I guarded. The general's hand trembled slightly as he approached, his face paling under the lights. Then, in a moment that froze time, he leaned in, his voice a low growl only I could hear at first. She just lost the baby. The words escaped louder than intended, amplified by the microphone, roaring through the hole like a cannon blast. Gasps rippled through the crowd. As turning to me in shock, I felt exposed, my world tilting on its axis. How did he know? And why now? The mystery wrapped around me like a shroud, hinting at a betrayal deeper than I could fathom. Derek's face drained of color, his eyes darting away. And in that instant, a chill settled in my bones. This wasn't an accident, it was the unraveling of a hidden web, one that would drag me into the depths of heartbreak and force me to confront the shadows in my own family. But what I didn't know that day, as the auditorium spun and whispers turned to murmurs, was the twisted path that led to that devastating roar. The general stepped back, his face a mask of regret. But the damage was done, my secret laid bare. The loss I'd suffered just days before, now public fodder. I'd miscarried alone in my quarters, the pain a silent storm that left me hollow, grieving a future snatched away. The father was miles across the ocean, unaware, and I'd planned to handle it quietly, drawing on the resilience that had carried me through deployments and losses. But now, everyone knew, their pitying stares burning like spotlights. In the chaos that followed, the ceremony halted, officers ushering me backstage, while the general barked orders to disperse the crowd. Derek hovered nearby, his concern faint, but I saw the flicker of guilt in his eyes. Leela, I'm so sorry, he muttered, but his voice cracked, betraying more. Back home that evening, the confrontation erupted like a long-suppressed volcano. The general paced the living room, his metals clinking softly. I didn't mean to say it like that, he confessed, voice breaking. I found out from the medic's report. Derek brought it to me. Derek, my stepbrother, the one I trusted despite our rocky past. The betrayal unfolded in fragments, each sharper than the last. Weeks earlier, Derek had grown resentful of my rising star, whispering to friends about how I didn't deserve the promotion, how my distractions made me unfit. But it went deeper. He discovered my pregnancy through snooping, rifling through my things during a family visit, finding the test results I'd hidden. Instead of support, he saw opportunity. In a fit of jealousy, he confronted me alone one night, his words turning to shouts, his hands shoving me against the wall in a moment of rage. "You think you can have it all? The career, the family, you're ruining everything." The push wasn't meant to harm, he claimed later, but it triggered the miscarriage. The stress and impact too much for my fragile state. The heartbreak crashed over me like endless waves, drowning me in sorrow. How could family do this? Derek, whom I defended in our youth, had shattered my world out of envy. I felt broken, my body aching from the loss, my spirit fractured by the deceit. Nights blurred into tears, questioning every shared memory, every forced smile. The general, torn between us, revealed Derek's confessions, how he'd hoped exposing me would derail my promotion, securing his own path forward. My emotional struggle peaked in isolation, staring at ultrasound photos I'd kept, feeling the void where hope once bloomed. Yet, amid the ruins, a spark ignited. The pain, raw and unrelenting, forged a new resolve. No longer the silent sufferer, I shifted from grieving victim to empowered seeker of truth. Channeling my military training, I gathered evidence, medical records, witness statements from that night, piecing together the puzzle of his betrayal. This wasn't just about loss. It was about reclaiming my voice, turning heartache into strength to ensure he faced the consequences of his actions. Until everything changed that tense week after, when the fragments of truth became my weapon in the quiet battle for justice. The general, burdened by guilt, called a private meeting in his office. Derek summoned under pretense of family reconciliation. I stood there, composed despite the storm inside, as the general laid out the facts. "Derek, what you did, it's unforgivable," he said, voice heavy with disappointment. Derek shifted uncomfortably, denying at first. "It was an accident. Leela overreacted," he protested. But I held up the report's timestamps matching his visit, medical notes linking the incident to my loss. The climax billed like a gathering thunderhead. I spoke calmly, my words cutting through his defenses. "You attacked my dreams, my future, out of your own shadows. But now, the light exposes you." The general, drawing on his authority, initiated a formal inquiry through military channels. Derek's actions violated codes of conduct. His jealousy-fueled push classified as assault, compounded by the emotional manipulation. Whispers spread through the ranks, his reputation crumbling like dry earth. He faced demotion, mandatory counseling, and the sting of isolation as colleagues turned away. Seeing the fraud beneath his charm. In the fallout, revenge took shape not in destruction, but in restoration. Derek's downfall brought him to his knees, a tearful apology in a dimly lit room where he admitted his envy stemmed from feeling overshadowed. "I never meant for this," he whispered. But the words couldn't mend what was broken. The general, heartbroken yet resolute, supported my healing, our bond deepening through shared remorse. I mourned the lost baby in private ceremonies, planting a tree in mom's garden as a symbol of life enduring. Peace settled gradually, like dawn after a long night. I returned to duty stronger, my promotion secured, with added respect for my resilience. The experience mended family ties in unexpected ways. The general and I grew closer, honoring the past while forging ahead. Looking back, that betrayal wasn't just a wound. It was a crucible, testing the limits of trust and forgiveness. Step families can harbor hidden storms, but in facing them, we discover our true strength. The moral echoes clearly. Jealousy may shatter bonds, but truth rebuilds them, teaching us to rise from loss with grace, embracing healing over hatred for a brighter tomorrow.